Good morning, world. How are you today? Just coming on here this morning. It's 8 o'clock in the morning in South Korea, and I'm just walking around on the rooftop of our building, as you can see. And great place to come and worship the Lord and spend some time with Him. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad. All of His promises are yes and amen to us. And I was just thinking as I was praying, I started to go back downstairs, and I thought, you know what, the Lord's been talking and with me for a long time about going live, and I've been encouraging people for a long time to go live and to speak the word of the Lord during this time and season especially, even more so as we go. And I've been really good at telling everybody else to get out there and do what God's called them to do, but not been so good about doing it myself, just for whatever reason, shy, embarrassed, worried about what people will think, who will listen to me, who won't listen to me, who am I to think that I would even have anything good to say. The devil talks to us and he tries to bind us and keep us stuff, just always trying to cause trouble in our lives and stuff. And I just want to be on here to encourage you today that wherever you are in your walk in your life with the Lord, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, that God has got your back. He cares for you. And whatever you're doing and wherever you're at, He is always wooing and pursuing you to draw closer to Him. A lot of times in our walk, we're like this mask that I have on. The devil muzzles us, and he tries to cover us up, and he tries to keep us quiet, and he tells us that we can't do this, we can't do that, and we can't be everything that God's called us to be. Before I had the hat on and the mask, I don't know what happened to it, but it's time that we take off all of that. It's time that we take off our mask. It's time we take off our disguises. And it's time that we be who God's called us to be. We can walk through this life and everybody looks at us on the outside and they pick up and they decide who they are. And they decide who we are. They look at us and sometimes they hadn't even met us yet. And they just look at us and immediately they pass judgment. And they don't even know who we are. They think we are immediately what we look like. Sometimes they think we're immediately what we perceive to be, but they don't look past us. But God does. He looks straight past what we act like, what we look like, what we do every day, and He looks into our heart and He sees our minds. And you know what? We need to always have that mind seeking Him, seeking and drawing closer to Him. I hear a lot of people and read a lot of stuff on Facebook, and we talk about God. We talk about God and we think about God and we say, you know what? It's like He's a good idea. It's a good idea to have God in our life, and it's a good idea to be around Him. And the thought of having a God to lean on is a good thing. But it's not just a good thought. It's not just a good thing. He's real. He's alive. And He wants to be a part of your life on a real basis. He wants to control and be a part of everything you do because His plans for you, they are to love you and to bless you and to do good for you. His heart is that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. It's not just what we say, we go to Him when we're sick, when we need money. When we get in a desperate place and we have nowhere else to go, He's the one that we lean on. No. He has to be first in our lives. He has to be number one. He has to be your leader and your guide. He has to be everything that you need. He's everything that you've ever wanted. That's God. That's my God. He's personal. He loves you. He respects you. He created you to be who you are. He created you just to look like you look. He created you to think like you think. He created you to walk like you walk. He put those desires in your heart. Your creativity, your whatever you can do, He put that in you. And He put that in you for a reason, and that's to serve Him, to follow Him. We follow Him, we serve Him because it's good for us. When we praise him and we thank him for the things around us, it encourages us and it lifts our spirit. When we're not doing that, we're in the down in the dumps and sad, and we feel horrible, and oh, woe is me, and life is tough. But when we're worshiping and praising and thanking God for the creation that he's made, it encourages us, and then we're lifted up and we're excited, and we go forth and we do mighty things for him. So I'm encouraging you today, be all you can be, do all you can do, and do it all for the Lord. Let's put away all of our carnal thinking. Let's put away all of ourselves. Let's take off the mask, which I would take this hat off if I knew how, but I don't. So it's going to stay on for a little bit because I don't know how to work this machine. But let's stop putting on a mask and be ourselves. Let's take the people have been talking about prophecies for this year, and they're talking about 2020 vision. And this year I think the Lord is exposing a lot of things in a lot of people. And he doesn't want us to walk around with masks on. He doesn't want us to be isolated. He doesn't want us to be alone. He wants us to be with him. He wants us to be open. He wants us to be honest. He wants us to show our lives following him. When we walk into people's lives, it should be to bless them. Everybody, when they see us, they should see God. When they see us, they should see God. And everything we do should reflect him. Because it's all about him. It's all about God and what he has and what he wants for us. The Bible talks about it all the time. We can't just walk around and do anything we want to do and however we want to do it and then just say the name of Jesus every now and then. We can't do that. We can't do that. We have to be sold out 100% to God. He has to be our number one. We have to give our whole lives over to him. And guess what? He has great plans for you. He has great plans for me. Those of you who know me know all my life has been a simple life. Grew up in Panama City, Florida. We didn't have a lot growing up, but we had Jesus. We had Jesus. You know, I grew up on the campgrounds of our church, and I played football with the boys. I played baseball, softball. Enjoyed my time, you know, didn't go very many places, never even had a goal in my mind to go places. It was just live my life. I never thought I could be or do anything more than just be. I worked at a daycare, which I loved and appreciate the people that I work with. I worked with them, and that was my life. Work at the daycare, go home, take care of my children, go to church, go back to the daycare, work, take care of my children, and then and I never thought or dreamed that one day God would use me to do anything other than go to church and witness for him. But look where I'm at. I'm in Korea, on the other side of the world. God can take anybody with a willing heart, anybody that's willing to trust him, anybody that can give their life over to him. There's no telling where he might take you. There's no telling where you might end up. There's no telling what you might do in Christ. There's no telling where you might go in him. It doesn't take any money. The first time we left on a mission trip to move, we sold everything we had and moved. We had nothing. My husband didn't even have a job whenever he went over to Ireland for the first time. But the Lord provided. He provided a ticket for him, and he provided care for me and our children, 4 of them, in fact. We took 2 with us. 2 were old enough to stay here and work on their own. But we went, and God took care of us. The day we left for our trip to go to Ireland, do you realize we only had $400 in our pocket? We left Panama City, Florida with $400 in our pocket in an old broken down van. Okay? And we were headed to Ireland. No ticket, nothing. By faith, we believed God called us to go. And whenever he said go, we dropped what we were doing, packed everything up on that day, and we said, okay, this is the day we're going. $400 in our pocket. And within 2 to 3 weeks, we would travel around America, visited some friends, visited Chris's family, so we didn't know when we'd be back, and we loved them, we wanted to see them. Visited everybody, said goodbye, and the next thing you know, we were on a plane to Ireland. And from that day, God has never failed us. He's always taking care of us. How does he take care of you? How does he what is it all about the money? No. Tell you, when we were in Ireland, we were 4 years we lived in Ireland, and the Lord took care of us. We weren't allowed to work there because of our visas, so we had to just completely depend on Him. And you know what? We have learned that when you depend on God, it's up to Him how He takes care of you. Okay? We always want everything ourselves. We want to do it our way. We want it our way. We think we've got our whole lives planned out, but no, we do it God's way. Whenever we needed something, sometimes He would give us money, and it would just come. Lord would bless somebody's heart, and they would send us money. Sometimes we needed groceries, and somebody would come by with a bag, and they'd have just what we needed in it that I was missing. And they'd stop by to say hey to us and just bring us a blessing. Sometimes we would go and we wouldn't have anything. We would just go by faith to the store. We'd get there, and I'd check my bank account, and somebody had put money in there. You just never know how God's going to take care of you. One time we lived on a farm with a precious family of 5 or 6. They had 4 kids. And us, it was 10 of us there. And the Lord, before we got there, the man that we were working with, that we stayed with, he had no work. Hardly any. He was barely just enough. And he asked us to come and said the Lord told him for us to come and stay with him. And when we got there, the Lord doubled his work so that he had enough not to take care of both families. Both families. The Lord just brought in the finances for him. That's how God chose to work. We were able to be a blessing to them. They were a blessing to us. We homeschooled our children together. God takes care of you. He chooses how. It may not be where you think you're going to be. It may not be what you're doing. That's what you think is going to happen. But He always takes care of us. If we put our trust in Him, if you trust Him and you love Him and you give Him all you got and you live for Him, you live the way He wants you to live. You do what He wants you to do. And whenever you fall, you get back up and you brush yourself off and you move forward. I was just praying and thinking and just praying about different things and different people this morning and thinking about the different lives that God's brought people through. And you know what? Each one of us has a struggle. Each one of us has our own little things that we have to deal with every day. Each one of us has setbacks. Each one of us, we don't all struggle with the same thing, but we all struggle with something. And each one of us has had to have the grace of God and the mercy of God in our lives at different times in our lives to help us get through those struggles and to help us to get through those times where we are just not where we need to be and we've got God put on a back burner somewhere. Maybe we haven't turned from Him, but we don't have Him up front, number one in our lives. So we have to learn to love, forgive, honor, and respect, and remember to pray for each other, and to love each other, and to be there for each other. And let's stop pretending. Let's stop pretending, and let's be real. We have problems. Every one of us does. We all live in a world that is fallen. We all live in a sinful world. We all live with the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life. And we all have to fight those things. And we all have, in some way, have a struggle that we go through. And we all can overcome. My struggle might not be your struggle. You may not understand my struggle. I may not understand yours. But we're all in this together. And we all have to hold each other up. We all have to take the mask off and be real and say, you know what? You're not the only one who's got problems. You're not the only one who's scared at times. You're not the only one whose faith is lacking. You're not the only one who's walked away and come back. Let's be real with one another. Let's be real with God. Let's take off all the disguises and let's get real with God. Draw close to Him. Get in your secret place and let's turn a new leaf over and let's follow it. Let's follow Christ, okay? Let's follow Christ 100%. Let's be sold out to Him. Let's be sold out to Him, okay? Let's just be sold out to Him. If we can be sold out to Him, He can take us places and He can do things with us that nobody else can do. I love you. I bless you. I'm here for you. I'm on Facebook. Anytime you want to talk, anytime you need somebody to just have an ear, I'm here. I love you. On Monday nights, I have a ladies' meeting here I use Zoom, but here on the Facebook, if you want. It's Monday night, Panama City time at 7 o'clock. Anybody want to join me? I get on, I send a link. If you'll send a message here, I'll send a link to this here, and you can look back at it. And all you do is click up on the Zoom. and you can talk with us. It's just different people come on different times, and we just talk about the Lord and what's on our hearts and share to encourage one another. And I encourage you to join with us as well. I love y'all. Have a good day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood of Korea, and I'm praying that the Lord will touch Korea and that God will deliver them and that we'll have a little part of that. I love you. Have a good day. Be blessed.